how the people have worked. It's like a piece of big art. Let's take that bit out of that culture, let's take that, and just create our own little clusterfuck, and just claim it, that that's the right way to go. You know, you really need a lot of confidence, a lot of guidance, whatever guidance that is, to be able to actually, you know, fairly successfully, you know, to do that if you look at the world nowadays. Well, you know, what's fascinating touring with this particular band and with these particular songs is that it seems that in each and every city where we're playing gig, people do appreciate different songs and different moods and different vibes, you know, a bit more rock and roll energy type of a thing seems to, you know, dig deeper into the collective psyche of a particular group. It's just weird, and that's kind of what makes it really interesting. You never know what's behind the, you know, what's around the corner. Yeah. So, and that's probably one of the reasons why we still keep on doing it. Because if it would be exactly, you know, it would be just repetition, it'd be super boring for everybody included, especially the audience. So everything's fairly good now. Everything's fairly good. It's the band's tight, but it's such a hard thing to get 5 people who spent most of the year living very close to each other, you know, nearly sharing bunks in a bus, and everybody knows each other, you know, throughout, inside out, and it's tough to get 5 people to work as one, work in unison, you know, when playing a gig, and then getting all the technical aspects right, then hopefully getting a lot of people, good attendance at the gig, and the sound right and everything like that. It's always a bit of a gamble, but that's, you know, that's one of the things that also makes it exciting, you know, because there's always weird stuff that can happen, and usually when the beautiful, you know, the perfect imperfection happens, you know, that's when everything is right. He's great. It's funny, you know, I've known Linda since I've been like 12, 13, and he's a very, you know, he's a very quiet, introverted character, but he's been opening up a lot, and you can actually hear all the emotion and the frustrations through his playing, you know, and he's changed as a musician a lot. You know, he used to be more introverted as a guitar player as well, and now he's kind of like liberated himself. I don't know why or how or, you know, what happened, but it's great to see that kind of a flower in bloom. Same with the rest of the guys, you know. Gas is still struggling a bit, but he'll get there. It takes that funny extra step you can't take yourself. It just happens naturally on a good gig, or it's just transformation that happens slowly, that you just immerse yourself, you know, totally lose yourself in the music so much that you do things that you never thought of, and you can't remember what you just did 2 seconds ago. That's a great thing. You know. So, you know, if I would be, you know, singing for Aerosmith, I'd be saying that that's very, you could compare that to making love. You know, the best thing is when you just lose yourself. You're like, what just happened? And when that happens, it's a great high. And that's probably one of the reasons that a lot of musos and writers, you know, try to, you know, run after that high with some intoxicants or whatever. But also, you know, I do have a bit of stage fright. Not too bad nowadays, but I used to have a bit of that. And when I started singing, that was the time when I still was a drummer and a bass player. So I was used to carrying something around with me. So that my crutches on stage were, you know, having a cigarette and having a bottle of red wine and a beer or something like that, because I felt naked without. So now still the cigarettes, we'll see when I cut down smoking and leave that, and what'll happen then. But no, it's just it's a collective push musically towards something. I don't know where it is, and it's just nice to be where we are musically at this particular moment. You know, it's just, you never know what to expect. There's also a tradition of people like, let's say, Jim Morrison. He didn't do a lot on stage. Everybody just remembers him doing the shamanistic dances or whatever. He did them like twice. Yeah. He was just clinging onto the mic and trying to get the story through. Yeah. So there's a different tradition in that sense. But Nick Cave, he's a great performer though. Yeah. But I guess that when I was a bit younger, you thought that you have to do something. You have to learn the ropes or do the moves or do something, you know, to be able to be considered as a great performer or whatever. I guess that the most challenging thing is to lose yourself so completely in the music, that you rather tell the story through the music than doing something pre-learned, doing like a Justin Timberlake routine. That's a different cup of tea. It's a different way of entertaining.
Yeah.
But if we would be able to at least get a tiny little percent of the people sucked into the mood of the music and really like overwhelm them with the music, that's the best thing, I guess. Especially nowadays, because there's always somebody who looks prettier or cooler, who's got a leaner body, who can do cool, backflips or whatever like that on stage. We're not Jim Rose Circus. They do their stuff extremely well. But what we're trying to do is to, musically create that, the sonic aura of something hopefully different that hasn't been done before. And at times and I like it when stuff starts happening uncontrollably and from and because of an unconscious source or subconscious source. It's I guess that's what you call. That's how it started. The term being a natural. Things happen naturally, just flow out of you, and you can see the difference compared to artists or performers who rehearse their craft. And you can do both, obviously, but I'm tend to steer away from theatrics. If it does happen, I don't know. It's something I don't think about too much of it, because I guess that singing itself is fairly demanding in this band, and getting everything right. And when I'm on stage, I don't think about myself. I think of the band and the sound of the band. That's also one of the reasons why I sing a lot of the times with my eyes closed, so I don't have any distractions of, let's say, pretty ladies or people waving at me or whatever. It's beautiful and it's nice to, but at times it takes you away from the mood of the song and the sentiment that's there to be brought forth. So I'm listening to everybody on the stage all the time, so I'm like listening to an album I'm not a part of. I'm listening, I'm just a puppet. I don't know, and the puppeteer is the whole collective, consciousness of the band him, So it's not that self-centered anymore. It was more when I was wasted on stage. It's funny that a lot of people who've never been to our gigs and maybe just seen a clip of a video or believe the rumors that were really satanic and driving the kids nuts, they're the ones losing the whole thing. That at least when I'm looking at the audience from the stage, a lot of them people are smiling. They're singing along, and it's a cathartic experience for hopefully everybody. You're going through universal pain together, Yeah. The pain of losing people around you, and the pain of growing up, and the pain of, as you grow up, learning that you actually don't know anything. And, the world becomes, day by day, a bit more complicated place. And it's basically good to know that you're not alone. And it was extremely interesting for me. I actually met somebody yesterday that she'd been talking to a couple of fans. She was a fan who did an interview, and some people said that, listening to the music of him makes me not feel alone, help me through, sleepless nights, like the thoughts of suicide, what Nietzsche once said. But the funny thing about that is that that's exactly what music does to me. That's why I write it. I'm not alone when I write music, and it makes me help. It makes me get through many a sleepless nights, and to be able to confront the negativity in the world in general with a smile on my face, more or less. It's tough and it's hard and it's hard for everybody, but it's crazy how, a person lives a zillion miles away in a place called Helsinki, sits on his bed, feels something, and picks up a guitar and puts that feeling, into the music, couple of words, couple of chords, and through a long process gets that thing recorded, and all of a sudden the music spreads all around, and what happens is that it does exactly the same what it did for the perpetrator, so to speak. It's a weird cycle that it does. It seems to do for a lot of people. and but also, you know, music is, you know, everybody's got their sonic diary, and everybody listens to different bands for different reasons, and everybody does listen to certain songs because they recreate the smell, the sense, that the whole atmosphere of a situation of the past. You know, when I listened to Madonna's Live to Tell, I remembered my, you know, first disco, you know, slow dances with a lady I was, you know, into when I was like 12 or whatever. And those are great memories. So that's also one reason why I write music, but also that's the negative thing for me, because I can't feel that. You know, I just feel the moment, the sentiment where I am at the moment where I'm writing it down. And at times it's painful, and at times it's rejuvenating. Hopefully both at the same time.